Hi, it's Lethea from Farm View Creators. Today we're going to work on this super cute Sweet Land of Liberty door round from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. So I am just getting my well-loved sticky board out and putting my pieces on there. Anything that I think would be better to paint on a stable surface. And then I'm going to go in with Amber Honey Glaze over the largest middle piece of the sign. On the bottom, I want to kind of mark where I need to paint behind those stars. And so I am using Farmhouse linen chalk style paint for that. I'm going to put 2 coats on this bottom star piece. I'm using a new color to me. It is French Navy and it is a luxe metallic, so it has a really beautiful shimmer to it. And I'm going to do the upper portion. This goes above that stained piece. On that lower piece, the stars do come out, so I'm saving those for another day. You never know when you need some stars. Again, 2 coats on that Farmhouse linen and 2 coats on the French Navy, which I'm really, really digging that color. It's just really rich and beautiful. And it goes really well with the midnight blue that we're going to use later. So for the words, I'm going to again use Farmhouse linen chalk style paint from Paint Couture, and I am using a makeup sponge and I'm going in with a dabbing motion. I have found that this keeps paint from clumping up in the nooks and crannies of the letters. I will do 2 coats of that. On the stars and the little firework burst, I am going to do 2 coats of Spanish Sunrise. This is just a base because I'm going to go over top of it. I did dig out a little bit of clumped up there on the Starworks. I'm going to first go in with a heavy metal called French Gold over those 3 stars and then over the Starwork burst. And then while that's still a little wet, I'm going to go in with another heavy metal metallic paint called Dazzling Aluminum, which is like a really sparkly silver. And I'm going to hit just the ends of that so that it kind of has that 2-tone firework shimmery look. And then a second coat on the words. And then back to that backboard, we're going to paint the top with Barn Red, another chalk style paint from Paint Couture. I end up with 3 coats on the red. A lot of times you have to do more coats with red just because if you don't, it's going to look kind of streaky. So I dried it in between each coat. Just want it to be nice and dry, and then just hit it again and again. I really like the chalk style paints. They're more of a matte finish, and they're especially good if you're wanting to like sand distress or anything like that. The Spanish Sunrise is a mineral acrylic, so it's a little has a little bit more shine to it, and it has a built-in top coat. The chalk style paints do not have a built-in top coat. So getting that 3rd layer on there, and then getting that dry. And I am going to go in. I couldn't decide how I wanted to do the popsicle until I had everything else painted. So I'm going back in with that Farmhouse linen chalk style paint and going to do the, the like lower dents in the popsicle with that Farmhouse linen. I'm going to mark off where the kind of drippy top is going to cover so that I have enough blue basically. And my middle color is one of my new favorites, Queen's Court. It is a mineral acrylic from Paint Couture. And then on the bottom I did the Barn Red, and I just used my finger to smudge it together a little bit. A second layer on that Farmhouse linen, and then for the top of the popsicle I am going to go in with Midnight Blue. It's a really nice blue. It almost looks royal blue in person, but as it dries and as you layer it to get an even coat, it gets a little more of a deeper leaning towards navy, but not quite navy. And then I had a camera malfunction, so I apologize. You did not get to see me do all those lovely little dots, but I just used the end of a, it's like a car paint detail touch-up tool, and just dipped it in my farmhouse linen and then dipped it and made dot trios across. I cannot do anything straight to save my life, so there's that. And then on those words I did the same exact thing, but I used the midnight blue for the dots to accent those words. And now I'm going to go in with my favorite top coat, Dead Flat Top Coat. It takes out all the shine on anything that you don't want to shine. So those heavy metals and the luxe metallics, they're still going to shimmer and shine, but everything else is going to be a nice contrasting matte. I'm going to use my art glitter glue to glue everything down, just making sure that I have everything lined up straight and with the curve of the board round outside edge. There are pre-drilled holes in the top for your hanger to go, so you want to make sure that you line everything up so that that's going to be centered. The kind of right side of that stained board wanted to kind of lift up a little bit, so you'll see that I keep pressing it down, and then at the end I'll put some clamps on that. It's just because it's such a wide and large piece that it just wanted to lift up a little bit. So I just put a little more glue and then got out my clamps. And then I'm going to keep on gluing everything down. I love how the board has the score lines to help guide where to put the letters, because like I said, I cannot get anything straight. Earlier I did go in and distress with Debbie's DIY dark wax. Just here, there, and everywhere. Gives more dimension to the piece. And with art glitter glue, it dries clear, so you don't have to worry about that. But a little goes a long way, and I use a little too much on my words. So you'll see it kind of swoosh out, but it's okay. It also does not make your fingers crusty, and it gives you just a little bit of wiggle room if you need to kind of slide those words around to get them lined up. But there it is. I love how it turned out. I'm just going to use a piece of jute that I get in my boxes from Christina to make a little door hanger. And there you have it. There's on my door, and I love it so much. Thanks for watching. I hope you love it as much as I do. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.